Following a 4-year stay in Italy, in 1847 George Frederick Watts travelled back to London. On his return, the artist was horrified by the poverty that confronted him. In response, Watts created 4 social realist compositions. One of these works, Found Drowned, went on to become one of his best-known paintings and is the focus of this short picture talk today. At first, Found Drowned appears to simply describe the scene before us. It depicts the body of a young woman washed up along the banks of the River Thames. If we look closely at the dark horizon, we can see the faint outlines of the newly constructed Hungerford Suspension Bridge, locating the female figure under the arches of Waterloo Bridge. Watts used this setting to criticise industrialisation. He witnessed how, as the city rapidly developed, it simultaneously neglected the social welfare of its citizens, particularly the impoverished. The title of this work also reveals a more tragic aspect of the story. Found Drowned was a legal term used in the Victorian era to avoid categorising a death as suicide. At this time, suicide was classed as illegal, and it would have prevented the deceased from a Christian burial. In this painting, Watts uses visual clues to allude to the issues that caused this woman's tragic death, mythologising her as a so-called fallen woman. In Victorian arts and literature, this negative term was given to a wide range of female characters who possessed sexual knowledge. Despite their differing circumstances, an adulterous married woman, a prostitute, and a victim of sexual assault would have all been grouped together as fallen women. By the mid-19th century, the responsibility that men played in the fall of women received much greater attention. Watts alludes to the role of an unknown man through the inclusion of the heart-shaped locket held tightly in the woman's hand. This locket was used to generate greater sympathy for the figure, as it perhaps suggests that she's been the victim of a betrayal or abandonment. The large scale of this painting prevents the viewer from shying away from the image. Instead, we are strikingly confronted by what was at the time a very controversial subject matter. Such a stark social realist scene was unprecedented on this scale in British art of the period, and even 30 years later it was still provoking criticism. For me, however, Found Drowned exemplifies Watts's belief that art possessed the power to promote justice and could be used to advocate social change.